Good morning, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and you're listening to Coffee with Kris, the time of the day where we share a cup of coffee and share a bit of the Word of God. All right, this is Tuesday. This is our third Sidra, our third Aliyah of the Torah portion of Netzavim, which means you are standing. This is all about the children of Israel. Not only the children of Israel, for that matter, but even the foreigners and the slaves living among Israel. They're all standing, and they're all entering into a covenant with God that they will keep His commandments, keep His instructions. And so we are in chapter 29 of Deuteronomy, verses 15 through 28, but I want to focus in on verse 18. Which says, now this is in regards to the covenant, right? Now when someone hears the words of this oath, and in his heart considers himself blessed, thinking, Shalom, peace will be mine, even though I walk in stubbornness of my heart, thus sweeping away the moist with the dry. Verse 19, Adonai will be unwilling to forgive him. For then the anger of Adonai and his jealousy will smoke against that person. So all the oath that is written in this scroll will settle on him, and Adonai will blot out his name from under heaven. Adonai will single him out from all the tribes of Israel for calamity, according to all the oaths of the covenant written in this scroll of the Torah. All right, basically, this is saying that somebody may be keeping up appearances, may look like they have it all together on the outside, that they're a good, upstanding member of the Jewish community, or in our case, that they may be an upstanding Christian and member of a local church. But think of it this way. Have you ever put on a blue polo shirt or a red polo shirt and you went to Walmart or Target respectively, and all of a sudden somebody comes up to you and says, "Excuse me, do you work here?" Now, why would they say that? We know that Walmart's trademark colors are blue and yellow, and if you go into Walmart wearing a blue polo shirt, somebody may think that you work there. Right? So they'll come up to you and say, "Do you work here? You look like you work at Walmart, but you don't." This actually happened to me one time when I was wearing a red polo shirt and I was in Target. Somebody asked me, "Hey, do you work here?" I'm like, no, sorry. I looked like I worked at Target because everybody was wearing red polo shirts. So if you ever go to Walmart or Target, don't wear those colors. Wear something else. But, just because you look the part doesn't mean that you are playing the part well, that you are authentically playing the part. I can dress in a greasy Dickies jumpsuit, have a wrench in my hand, and stand in a garage, but that doesn't make me a mechanic, does it? I don't know the first thing about working on a car. And it reminds me of this child, where, the mother is scolding the child's being hyperactive and rambunctious, and all of a sudden the mother says, "Johnny, sit down. Johnny, sit down. Johnny, I told you to sit down." And then finally the child complies and Johnny sits down and he says, "Mama, I want you to know I may be sitting down on the outside, but I'm standing up on the inside." He's obeying outwardly what's expected of him, but inwardly he's rebelling. And this is what this passage is talking about, where somebody says, "You know what, I'm going to look the part so that nobody bothers me, but inside I'm going to worship idols. I may not be committing adultery and sleeping around with women, but man, I can undress them with my eyes and my mind. Or you know what, I may not be stabbing somebody in the back or murdering them or whatever, but I can hate them so much that I'm imagining doing that in my heart." And the Lord said, if you've done that, Yeshua said in the Brit Chadasha, the renewed covenant, if you've done that, you've done it in your heart, and it's as bad as doing the real legitimate thing. So basically what this passage is addressing is hypocrites. Don't think that God's going to let you slide just because you look the part on the outside. You're not keeping on the inside. You're going to be cursed. You're going to be cursed with all the curses that are in the covenant if you look the part on the outside but don't keep it on the inside. And that's why Yeshua said to his disciples, if your righteousness doesn't exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, and they're like, whoa, wow, that, what do you mean? Well, the Pharisees were looking the part. Not all of them, but a lot of them were looking the part, but inside they were corrupt. And Yeshua points this out in Matthew chapter 23, verses 24 through 28. It says, "O blind guides, straining out a gnat while swallowing a camel. Woe to you, Torah scholars and Pharisees, hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but the inside are full of greed and uncontrolled desires. Oh, blind Pharisee! First clean the inside of the cup and the dish, so that the outside may be clean as well. Woe to you, Torah scholars and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but inside are full of dead men's bones and everything that is unclean. In the same way, you appear righteous to men on the outside, but are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness." You know, let this be a lesson to us, and let us really examine our hearts today. You know, we may be keeping up appearances on the inside, but are we obeying God from our heart? Are we loving the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength? Are we obeying his commandments from our heart? You know, we don't become faithful and good believers by osmosis from the outside in. It comes from the inside out. When you change the inside, the outside will naturally, automatically change with it in that process. But if you change the outside, that's not going to seep in and change anything on the inside. So let's remember that today as we go about our day. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shalom and God bless.